Money is everywhere in our lives. It defines where we live, what we study, and sometimes even how we feel. And yet, barely any of us truly understand it. In fact, only 69% of Americans understand compound interest. That's nearly 7 out of 10 people who can't explain how their savings grow. And it's been like this for decades. If money is such a big part of our lives, why is it still such a mystery? Maybe because it's treated like a secret language that only certain people can understand, while the rest of us are struggling to keep up. We learn Shakespeare and calculus in school, but nothing about how to read a payslip, how to budget, or what credit actually is. And this silence doesn't just create an inconvenience, it creates an inequality, because money isn't just about numbers, it's about opportunity. When I took my personal finance class last summer at Harvard, I learned something that changed my perspective. On the first day, my professor asked me, "What does personal financial security mean to you?" Most students said success or comfort, but he answered, "Financial security isn't just about money. It's about freedom." And that hit me, because when you think about it, for most people, money isn't freedom, it's stress. And that's when I started asking, why is financial education only a dream for most people? Shouldn't it be a right for everyone? I remember talking with some friends about savings, the future, jobs, etc., and realizing none of us really knew what we were talking about. I mean, we all wanted to feel prepared, but no one was teaching us how. When we talk about inequalities, we usually focus on wealth gaps, but knowledge gaps are just as important. In fact, financial literacy is below 50% in most countries, and it's even lower for women and young people. Take France. Only 40% of people can answer basic questions about personal finance, and it's been like this forever. Last year, I took an internship at Saffron AI. During this internship, I saw something that blew my mind. I watched AI take massive amounts of complicated data and turn them into something simple anyone could understand in this room without a word of judgment. And that made me wonder, if AI can explain finance, if AI can explain complex science, why can't it explain money? Why can't it teach anyone, not just experts, what finance actually is? Imagine someone who's completely new to finance asking, what happens if I save 50 euros a month? Well, first of all, most people in this room would be too embarrassed to ask that question, out of fear of feeling embarrassed or just sounding unaware. But AI won't judge you. It won't make you feel embarrassed. It'll just give you the answer instantly, clearly, and for free. In seconds, AI can explain complex financial terms like compound interest in simple words. It can compare saving versus investing, helping you understand the bigger picture. In this room, raise your hand if you understand compound interest. Now keep your hand raised if you learned this in school. This is why AI tools like this that explain finance matter, because the truth is schools aren't teaching us enough. For example, here, an AI-generated graph about the difference between simple and compound interest. The orange line is simple interest. As you can see, the growth is calculated based on the original deposit, so the growth is steady. But the green line, that's compound interest. As you can see, not only does it start off slow, but it starts to accelerate with time. And that's because with compound interest, unlike simple interest, the growth is calculated not only on your original deposit, but on the interest that comes with it. So, time is money, because you make your money work for you. Even better, AI tools like these are personalized. They can adapt to your level, your language, and your confidence. For example, if you're a beginner, it starts off slow, and if you're more of an expert, it dives deeper. And once again, it does so without judgment. You can ask the same question twice, and AI will not care. To make this idea universal, and let anyone with a phone have these AI financial tools, we have to understand what it will take. In order to make tools like these universal, we have to make people want to use them. It's not enough for people to have them. Schools need to understand that teaching finance with AI matters, because right now, students only figure out they need these tools when something goes wrong. But we have to be careful, because AI is not automatically fair. There do come with biases in loan approvals, in insurance rates, and etc. Because if we do not understand who makes these tools and what data these tools use, then we could fall into the inequalities that have been built into our society for years. And that's why financial literacy still matters. Because today, we have to understand our learning. We can't just let AI learn for us. Then we would fall trap to what people have been doing for decades with AI, for years with AI. And we know that personalized learning works. In fact, studies show that 40% more of the material is learned when the material is adapted to the learner. So, since courses with AI already teach tons of materials, like languages, calculus, math, etc., then why can't it teach money? Here's the exciting part. Gen Z will be the first generation to manage their money alongside AI, and that gives us a real choice. We can let AI automate our finances, or we can use it to finally understand them. And that's how we reach equality. By making everyone with a phone, any teenager, wherever, whether a farmer in India or a student in Paris, understand the basics we need to learn finance. So here's the choice. Do we let AI control our finances, or do we use it to educate us? Do we let money divide us, or do we use knowledge to connect us? Let's choose the second. Let's create a world where finance is equal, and where that knowledge is shared, and go beyond money to create a world worth investing in. Thank you very much.